don't make enough money off of me.
Rihanna was like, I just wanted to be her.
So my parents were like, be realistic. Like, you need to work. This can be a side, a hobby.
Y'all, this drama between Tyla and Rihanna just took a wild turn. And trust me, it's way deeper than music. This is about power, image, and who really runs the global pop game. Because now, Tyla is finally speaking out in ways that sound like shade, calling out how Rihanna's massive shadow might actually be holding her back. Fans are convinced the tension between these two queens is no longer subtle, it's bubbling over. But before we get too deep, let's set the stage, because what we're about to dive into isn't just Tyla versus Rihanna, it's the industry playing chess with both of their careers. Tyla blew up like a storm after her track Water went viral on TikTok in 2023. That record didn't just chart, it dominated, cracked the Billboard Hot 100, and even won her a Grammy for Best African Music Performance. Overnight, she became South Africa's global pop princess. But fame comes with drama, and soon fans started comparing her to Rihanna, the looks, the attitude, even the hair. Photos of Tyla had the internet calling her a Rihanna clone and labeling her an industry plant. And the worst part? They accused her team of copying Rihanna's exact playbook. Now Tyla didn't stay quiet. She clapped back saying, "Rihanna is Rihanna, it's a compliment, but I'm my own artist. I'm Tyla." But if you read between the lines, she was basically saying, "Stop putting me in Rihanna's shadow." Around the same time, Rihanna posted a cryptic message on Instagram that read, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," which fans immediately took as a subtle warning to Tyla to stay in her lane. Whether that was true or not, the internet ran with it, and suddenly, the situation looked like an industry cold war. Behind the scenes, insiders say Epic Records has been pouring money into making Tyla the next Rihanna, pushing her heavily on TikTok, and giving her fashion moments that mirror Rihanna's old eras. She even rocked a Balmain sand dress at the 2024 Met Gala, a look straight out of Rihanna's bold fashion playbook. And when Anna Wintour handpicked her for the 2025 Met Gala host committee, the narrative wrote itself: Rihanna 2.0 has arrived. But that title comes with baggage. Rihanna's been in this game long enough to recognize when someone's being positioned as her replacement, and she doesn't play about her legacy. Fans think that her cryptic Bible verse post was her way of saying she's untouchable, and no copycat can threaten her throne. Meanwhile, Tyla's been walking a fine line praising Rihanna in interviews, while also subtly reminding the world that she's her own artist. Now, here's where it gets juicy. Rihanna's no longer just an artist, she's a billionaire mogul, a fashion icon, and a mother of three. If Tyla's rise threatens that image, even a little, you better believe there'll be quiet pushback. Some fans even think Rihanna's influence could be blocking Tyla from major collaborations. No Drake, no Beyonce, and no Rihanna cosign. And when you mix jealousy, power, and business politics, you get exactly the kind of silent storm that can make or break a career. So now the question is Rihanna protecting her legacy, or sabotaging a rising star before she can truly shine?
There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
That story has always haunted fans, because it showed just how intense the pressure in the music industry can get. And now, with Tyla being seen as Miss Rihanna 2.0, people can't help but wonder if Rihanna's passing that same pressure forward, protecting her space, by quietly making sure Tyla never rises too high. But before we get into the sabotage rumors, we need to unpack how Tyla's entire image seems manufactured. From her looks to her sound to how her label markets her once you see the formula, it's hard to unsee Rihanna's blueprint. From the very start, Tyla didn't move like your typical independent artist grinding from the bottom. She had a powerful machine behind her from day one, Epic Records. And once you trace how they marketed her, it's impossible not to see the pattern. Back in 2022, Tyla wasn't exactly a mainstream name, yet her single Been Thinking somehow kept popping up everywhere online. Fans later realized Epic was allegedly paying major TikTok and Twitter accounts to promote her music, making sure she trended whether people asked for it or not. That's why her rise felt so polished, almost too perfect. By the time Water dropped, the campaign was flawless. The choreography, the virality, the visuals, everything was designed to dominate your feed. But that's where the Rihanna comparisons got even louder. When Rihanna broke out in 2005 with Pon de Replay, Def Jam and Jay-Z branded her as the exotic, fashionable, cool island girl who could cross over globally. Tyla's rollout looks almost identical. Rihanna had Barbados. Tyla has South Africa. Rihanna had her creative bestie, Melissa Ford. Tyla's got her creative director, Day One. Even their fashion arcs line up perfectly, from fun, flirty performances to Met Gala showstoppers like Tyla's custom Balmain sand dress and vintage Roberto Cavalli look. Then, just like Rihanna, she got that major cosign a Met Gala host committee invite in 2025. That's not coincidence. That's label branding 101. But here's where things get controversial. Some critics argue that Epic Records purposely chose Tyla because of her racial ambiguity. In the US market, lighter-skinned or mixed-race artists are often marketed as more palatable to global audiences. Commentators online pointed out that before Tyla, most African women breaking into the US mainstream like Thames or Era Star were darker-skinned. Tyla's lighter complexion, accent, and Americanized style made her easier to sell. On top of that, fans noticed how quickly she transformed from a cute, bubbly TikTok dancer to a sultry, high-fashion superstar. Her personality seemed to shift overnight, and that's why people say her brand feels constructed rather than authentic. And from Rihanna's perspective, watching a younger artist rise using her exact playbook would sting, especially when the whole world starts calling that artist the next Rihanna. That's when jealousy rumors started to sound believable. Because it's not just Tyla copying Rihanna's image, it's Epic Records recreating Rihanna's career from scratch. And if you're Rihanna, the last thing you want is someone being positioned as your replacement. That's where the shade began. If Rihanna feels her identity is being cloned and Tyla feels trapped under her shadow, then the tension isn't just personal, it's structural. It started with subtle things: cryptic Instagram captions, vague quotes, and posts fans swore were aimed at each other. Tyla played it cool, but she made it clear in interviews that she wants her own lane. In Cosmopolitan, she said, "People want to tie me to something familiar. Cool. But at the end of the day, we're doing something no one's done before." That line, "no one's done before," hit like a dig. Meanwhile, Rihanna stayed mysterious, posting, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper." To her Navy, that was a warning shot. To Tyla's fans, it was proof Rihanna sees her as a threat. Then Cardi B stepped in, defending Tyla against the online hate. Cardi said, "Every time I scroll TikTok, there's a video of her, and people are talking crazy. What do you want her to do? Cut her veins?" It was raw and emotional, and it reignited the debate about how toxic fan wars have become. Cardi wasn't just defending Tyla, she was calling out an industry that sets artists up to fail by pitting them against legends like Rihanna. From there, it exploded. Some fans accused Tyla of being obsessed with Rihanna's image. Others said Rihanna was jealous because Tyla's charting and showing up on every red carpet, while Rihanna hasn't dropped an album in years. One comment read, "Tyla's success isn't organic. They manufactured her whole brand to be Rihanna light." Of course, Rihanna's annoyed nobody wants to be replaced in their own lifetime. Another said, "I love that Tyla still lists Rihanna as an inspiration instead of being bitter. That's real confidence." Either way, the fire was lit. But this isn't just gossip, it's business. In the music world, shade has consequences. If Rihanna's not vibing with Tyla, fashion houses might hesitate to book her. Big-name collabs could disappear. And that's why fans believe Rihanna's jealousy might not just be emotional, it could be strategic. Because with Rihanna's power, she wouldn't even have to say a word to close doors behind the scenes. Still, not all of this is Rihanna's fault. Some critics say Tyla's team played themselves by leaning too hard into the Rihanna formula. By copying too closely, they invited those comparisons that are now holding her back. But there's no denying that Tyla's rise is making waves Grammy winner, fashion darling, and one of Africa's biggest exports. So, when you step back, the Tyla versus Rihanna saga isn't just a fan war, it's a case study in how the music industry recycles stars. When one legend slows down, the machine builds the next one. But if that next one looks too much like the original, she'll never escape the shadow. For Tyla, her future depends on one thing: finding her true identity. Because if she keeps being the new Rihanna, she'll always be second best. But if she flips the script, switches up her sound, shows more of her story, and creates something fresh, she might just carve out a lane Rihanna can't touch. And that's why this drama matters. Tyla's fighting to prove she's not a clone. Rihanna's defending the legacy she built. And until one of them addresses it directly, fans will keep fueling the fire. At this point, Tyla's gotta bring more than water, she's gotta bring a wave.